I am celebrating 3 years total of spoon carving. So this is like my celebration slash reflection video just of the past 3 years. I started carving in March of 2022, so we have passed through March and we're now in April, so it's like, I guess, more official, I guess. I'm just like a nostalgic person, and I like to, reflect and look at where I am today compared to where I was before, and also just like look to the future a little bit because I think it's fun. I also think it's just important to reflect on your accomplishments and celebrate them because you got to be your own hype person. And a lot of times we get like sucked into the go, go, go of the process and you forget to look at what you've done and what you've accomplished. So, again, we're doing that today. At least I am doing that today for my spoon carving. I have been feeling a great sense of gratitude, and it's kind of weird in the way that I've been feeling gratitude. I've been feeling gratitude towards my past self. And what I mean by that is I am thankful to my past self for just starting to spoon carve. Just, literally just doing it. And I feel like my practice and journey of spoon carving has like taught me a lot of level setting my expectations and what kind of control, like what things I actually have control over in my life. I am a dreamer or a whatever, depending on the lens that you're looking at it from. And so in my what ifing abilities or my overthinking abilities, I try to control or I try to control the future or the outcome of like where I'd want to go and what I want to do. And it sometimes gets to the point where it gets overwhelming and I actually don't do things or I don't start things. And I think I've realized is it's because I put myself in positions where I try and control things that I don't have control over. I try to put a lot of expectations on things that I don't have control over. And so with spoon carving, it it has actually showed me the practice of like what are the things that I actually have control over, and when I know what I have control over, I can only control the present in the moment. So I can, for example, in spoon carving, I can like pick up a knife and a piece of wood and just start carving, and that is what I have control over. Whether or not I get good at it, not good at it, do these different things, I can aspire to those things. However, that's not what is going to happen necessarily today. Yeah, as much as I want a very specific outcome, like who knows what will actually happen. I don't. I don't know the future. And so what I do know is that if I do have a very specific like outcome or aspiration I want to go towards, what can I do today so that the possibility of where I want to go could happen? Because I think it's better to start somewhere versus not starting, which guarantees you will not get there. That is a thing that I actually been thinking a lot about. Because if I didn't start carving spoon 3 years ago, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. So, as I reflect on this journey, I feel like spoon carving has been my teacher. And if we look at it in the grand scheme of things, I feel like 3 years, it's not that long. But when I do look back, I feel like I've made a lot of progress. And so what I did was I went to go look for some of my older spoons to see like how much progress I've made. I feel like I've made a lot of progress. Okay, so I'm gonna show you my very first spoon. This is my very first spoon. You know, she's great. But we've made a lot of progress. I'm pretty sure I made this out of like really dried out cedar wood. So that's a thing. And it reminds me of a boat oar. That's what it is. That's when I look at this, right? The bowl also does not really bulby. It's very flat. Anyway, that's the point. That's one of my first spoons. This is one of my first spoons too. It's very spoony. I think there's a lot of material still on it. So if someone were to try to eat with it, maybe a little more difficult. I feel like this one too is like one of my first spoons. I think this was also the first spoon that I like axed out by myself. Like, yeah, this is like my first axed out like spoon, which that was hard. Anyway, so for example, those were like some of my first spoons. But like if you look at those compared to like this spoon, look at this. This spoon is like a spoon that I did recently. You know, I feel like it has more definitions, a little bit more polished. Or this, which is not really a spoon, it's more of like a spatula thing, it's a much larger piece. But I've also learned how to, add decorations to it, which is really cool. And then I have this piece here, which is not even a spoon because it's not. It's a honey dipper thing. But what spoon carving has taught me is how to use a knife, and I feel more comfortable trying different forms and stuff because in wood, because I'm more comfortable with a knife now. So recently I've actually started taking a pottery class at my local community center. I go in twice a week. Once a week is my class, and then the second time I just like go in to try to get more reps, learn, just get that time in. And I've been enjoying it a lot, and it's kind of put me in this mindset where I have some big aspirations or desired outcomes I'd like to see in the next few years. And this new journey has me feeling a lot of the same things when I first started spoon carving. And I'm like reminding myself, like, girl, you went through the spoon carving. Do not put unrealistic expectations. But remember, back then when you were just starting, look at where you are 3 years from now. Imagine what the possibilities are with pottery. Again, it's a good reminder for me today of like, what is it that I can do today so it is a step towards tomorrow. Funny enough, yesterday I actually went into the pottery studio and it was a pretty big fail day for me. It's actually a pretty big fail day for me for pottery and spoon carving. I was trying to trim some stuff and I tried to trim 3 things and only one came out the way that I wanted to. The other one I did trim, but it ended up becoming a cup or a teacup when I wanted to be a jar. And then the third thing, I poked a hole through it. And then my spoon stuff, I actually have proof. It's not a spoon, it was a scoop. Well, it's not a spoon or a scoop anymore, but basically it was a scoop. And I broke it because I think it was just getting too thin. So like the integrity of it was getting lost. And the reason is because I took a risk and tried to reduce the amount of axing that I would need to do to get this out of the wood. But I feel like I took too much wood off of the blank, like the initial billet, and I basically started off with too little wood, which impacted the bowl and impacted everything else. But anyway, even though I didn't feel great about my, crafty things that I did yesterday, it's a small speck in the grand scheme of things, right? And I at least know that my future self may not even remember on those, but she did learn about things. And regardless of the outcome of what my aspirations are, I know my future self will be thankful that I at least did something. So celebrating 3 years, spoon carving and many, many more, and wherever this pottery journey takes me.